You wake up as the sun begins to rise over a cold landscape. The air bites at your skin. There is no warm breakfast waiting, no stove, no campfire, no comforting glow in the darkness. For hundreds of thousands of years, this was normal. Your ancestors lived in a world without fire, and it changed almost everything about the way they survived. Today, fire feels so ordinary that it is easy to forget how revolutionary it was. A flick of a switch creates heat. A spark cooks a meal. A candle pushes back darkness. But there was a time when humans had none of these advantages. Your distant ancestors faced every day without the tool that would eventually transform human history. How did they survive? The answer is stranger than most people imagine. Imagine East Africa nearly 2 million years ago. Open grasslands stretched toward the horizon. Small groups of early humans move carefully through the landscape. Predators are everywhere. Giant cats hide in tall tss. Hyenas patrol the edges of the plains. Every day begins with uncertainty. You are hungry. There is no cooking. Every calorie comes directly from nature. Tough roots, bitter leaves, wild fruits, nuts, insects. Occasionally raw meat obtained through scavenging or dangerous hunting opportunities. Everything is eaten exactly as it is found. That sounds difficult, because it was. Modern humans often underestimate how important cooking really is. Cooking softens food. Cooking unlocks calories. Cooking kills harmful microorganisms. Before fire, none of those benefits existed. Your ancestors had to chew longer, digest harder, and spend far more time searching for food. Biological anthropologist Richard Wrangham has argued that cooking may have been one of the most important developments in human evolution. According to his cooking hypothesis, cooked food provides more usable energy than raw food. In simple terms, your body gets more calories for less effort. Before fire, that advantage did not exist. Imagine spending hours chewing tough roots. Imagine your jaw working constantly. Imagine finishing a meal and still feeling hungry. Many primates today devote huge portions of their day to feeding because raw food is difficult to process. Early humans may have faced similar challenges. Their bodies reveal clues. Early members of the human family often had larger teeth and stronger jaws than modern humans. Over time, those features became smaller. Many researchers believe dietary changes played an important role. As food became easier to process, the anatomy of the face changed as well. But food was only the beginning. Night was even more dangerous. When the sun disappeared, the world changed immediately. There were no streetlights, no flashlights, no lanterns. Darkness belonged entirely to nature, and nature could be terrifying. The African night is full of sounds. Lions call in the distance. Hyenas laugh in the darkness. Insects buzz. Branches snap. Every sound might signal danger. Every shadow could hide a predator. What would you do? Most likely you would seek safety before sunset. Trees might provide temporary protection. Rocky shelters could offer security. Groups would stay together because survival depended on cooperation. Sleep was probably different too. Deep, uninterrupted sleep would have been difficult in a world filled with threats. Every member of the group needed awareness. A strange sound could mean the difference between life and death. Yet your ancestors survived. That fact alone is extraordinary. Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has emphasized the importance of cooperation in early human societies. Human children require enormous care compared to many other animals. Parents alone often could not provide everything. Entire groups contributed to raising the next generation. This system increased survival. Without fire, social bonds became even more valuable. People shared food, they shared information, they shared protection. Cooperation became one of humanity's greatest survival tools long before technology transformed the world. Cold weather created another challenge. Today, a drop in temperature is usually solved with a jacket or a heater. Early humans had neither. Before fire, warmth depended on movement, shelter, sunlight, and whatever natural insulation was available. This placed limits on where humans could live. Many researchers believe mastery of fire helped humans expand into colder regions. Reliable heat made new environments accessible. Areas that were once deadly became survivable. Before fire, geography controlled human possibilities far more strictly. The archaeological record helps reveal when this transformation began. One of the most famous sites is Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. Researchers discovered evidence suggesting controlled fire use nearly 1 million years ago. Burned bones and plant remains deep inside the cave, suggest that humans were not simply encountering natural fires. They were managing them. This was a major turning point. Fire was becoming a tool rather than a natural disaster. But before that happened, early humans likely depended on nature to provide flames. Lightning strikes ignited grasslands. Volcanic activity created fires. Wildfires swept across landscapes. Imagine seeing fire for the first time. A bright orange glow appears on the horizon. Smoke rises into the sky. Animals flee in panic. Heat radiates through the air. The sight is frightening and fascinating at the same time. Curiosity may have changed everything. Some researchers believe humans first learned to preserve naturally occurring fires before learning how to create them. Keeping embers alive may have been easier than generating sparks from nothing. A group that possessed fire had an enormous advantage. Losing it would have been devastating. Imagine protecting a small glowing ember for days. Imagine carrying it across the landscape. Imagine understanding that this tiny source of heat and light could determine survival. That possibility makes the story even more remarkable. Fire may not have arrived suddenly. It may have entered human life gradually through observation, experimentation, and patience. Before fire, even food safety looked different. Cooking destroys many parasites and harmful bacteria. Raw diets expose people to greater risks. Early humans had to navigate those dangers constantly. Their bodies adapted as best they could, but survival was never guaranteed. Evolution rewarded individuals capable of enduring difficult conditions. Generation after generation, natural selection shaped human populations. Traits that improved survival became more common. Evolution was constantly working behind the scenes. The story becomes even more interesting when we consider the human brain. Your brain consumes enormous amounts of energy. Despite representing only a small percentage of body weight, it requires a large share of daily calories. This creates an evolutionary puzzle. How did humans support increasingly larger brains? Some scientists argue that cooking played a critical role. By increasing available calories, cooking may have helped support the energy demands of a growing brain. If true, fire influenced far more than comfort and convenience. It helped fuel intelligence itself. Richard Wrangham's hypothesis remains debated, but the idea highlights the enormous significance of fire. A simple flame may have contributed to the development of language, planning, culture, and technology. Think about that. The same force that warms a meal today may have helped shape the modern human mind. Life before fire also moved at a different rhythm. The setting sun marked the end of many activities. Darkness reduced visibility and limited opportunities. Tool-making became harder. Social interaction became more restricted. Productive hours depended almost entirely on daylight. Fire changed this. Suddenly, evenings became useful. People could remain active after sunset. They could gather together. They could share experiences. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied conversations among hunter-gatherer groups and found that nighttime discussions around fires often involved stories, social relationships, and broader ideas. Daytime conversations focused more on practical matters. Fire created a new social environment. It encouraged imagination. It encouraged storytelling. It encouraged culture. Without fire, much of that nighttime world may have been impossible. Imagine losing every evening of your life. No warm gathering place. No circle of light. No stories shared beneath the stars. No comfortable space to reflect on the future. the absence of fire-shaped culture as much as survival. Archaeological discoveries across Africa, the Middle East, and Eurasia continue to reveal evidence of this transformation. Layers of charcoal, burned bones, ancient hearths. Each discovery tells part of the story. Humans were changing. Their relationship with nature was changing too. For most of history, humans adapted to the environment. Fire marked the beginning of a new chapter. Humans started reshaping the environment itself. Fire could clear land. Fire could alter ecosystems. Fire could drive away predators. Fire could transform food. This was power unlike anything early humans had experienced before. Before fire, survival depended more heavily on endurance, luck, and physical resilience. After fire, humanity gained a tool capable of changing the rules of the game. That ancient transition still affects you today. Your attraction to warm gathering places, your comfort around fireplaces, your fascination with campfires, your preference for cooked food. These behaviors may reflect patterns shaped across countless generations. The past never disappears completely. It survives inside habits and instincts. When you sit beside a fire today, you are participating in a tradition older than agriculture, older than cities, and older than written language. You are connecting with one of the most important innovations in human history. Before fire, your ancestors survived through cooperation, adaptability, intelligence, and determination. They endured cold nights, raw diets, constant danger, and endless uncertainty. They survived long enough to discover something extraordinary. Eventually, someone learned to control the flames. Then everything changed. Food changed. Migration changed. Sleep changed. Culture changed. The human story changed. Yet the most remarkable part may be what came before. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors faced the world without fire and somehow endured. They survived long enough to bring light into the darkness. You wake up as the sun begins to rise over a cold landscape. At the beginning of this story, that image represented a world without fire. Now it represents something else entirely. It represents the resilience of the people who survived long enough to create one of humanity's greatest discoveries.